Hey everyone, Dan here. We're about an hour after market close on Monday, June 28th. Today we're going to do that Monday thing and take a look at Palantir. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps a lot. And yes, it's true if you're a big fan of Palantir and you haven't come across these videos before, I cover it every single Monday. So we can try to plot a course for the week ahead and see what we might look for in the signals and the trend. Also, down below in the description, I have a few links to a few different things. One is this Webull software that I'm charting this on. They're also a free broker with a ton of different options and opportunities. I'm not talking options trading, they have that, but I mean just options and opportunities for charting. You'll see some of that here, but also a ton for trading. So they have really easy ways to set take profits, stop loss, both, that sort of thing. And then another free, and they're free, and another free one, Gatsby, which is iOS or Android based, and they are really smooth in terms of like UI, UX, very quick, very easy, very efficient, but you got to know what you're going in there to buy. You're not going to read the chart and do it there, in my opinion. Okay, so Palantir is on a really nice run recently. You see today the volume staying relatively high, though it's off of its 3-month average. But I did see a bunch of like just no reason kind of stocks that were trading below their 3-month average today. So it might have just been a little bit of down volume in certain areas of the market today, but really good run up over 2%, and that is on the back of several days of run-ups. I mean, I guess this was a consolidation day, but, running up here, even though it sold then back off, but nice run-up on this day and even days before it, so it's a really good run that it's putting together here. If we zoom out a bit, just to get a sense of, the way that I've been tracking it, it's been in this channel that we had charted previously, and it's forming a channel within the channel. So this is, to me, sort of the longer term channel. This is, if I'm taking a longer term position, I'm looking for it to bounce off of any of these price targets that I have charted here. You see it did that today. You see it did that a few days ago, and you see that it did that after it consolidated here for a bit several days before that. So the chart's holding up really well, including like the support zones toward the bottom, sort of buttressed by the lower bound of the channel also swooping in to help give it support. But right now, it's definitely running up steep within this channel. So we may see it flatten out a bit. So we may see it sort of like give a little test here or there. I honestly, in order to have it like play this channel a little bit better, I would like to see it kind of stretch more consistently. Right now it's done this steep, but kind of like steep up the middle kind of maneuver. So this one to me is not giving a ton of opportunities to buy in without feeling like you're just chasing. The shorter term channel that will draw and show in a minute, I believe that will show more of those things. But these are the price targets. Looks like we're getting up toward the higher price targets in this view. If we zoom out a bit, there are a few more set right above here, getting us into the 30s, pretty well into the 30s. So I still think that there's quite a bit of run room. So I'm going to mark this on my calendar, to be honest, because this is like a really unique situation. So there is this feeling of sort of like chasing this up this channel, but there's also the reality that since I believe this chart has held up really well, I have a lot of faith in it, and I believe that this section or this price zone that's targeted up here at 2765, which is this one, I believe this could offer a really good dip buying into price strength opportunity, because then it should have a lot of run room to 2925. So I'm going to be looking for any run over that 2765 and jumping off and probably trying to do some shorter term options plays there in order to catch that run close to 30. And I guess the other thing is, if it does stretch down toward the bottom of the channel, or even this 2685, that could be sort of like equally as solid, especially knowing that it might be doing this thing where it's coming up the channel, coming up relatively quick on this end, and doing a quick test of this this 27.65, and so it could come down for a new test of that 26.85, reconfirm support there, and then that might give it the ability to jump up through that 27.65, bypassing any sort of like jump down. So I'm going to be looking for this type of play, or if it does come up and comes over it right now, I'm going to look for it to try to make a run up, little bits into price strength, and then I'm going to look for it to pull back and not make an immediate run up to that higher price point. I kind of think, this is purely a guess, so keep that in mind. I kind of think that in terms of like that run to 29.25, I do kind of think it'll either blow through 27.65 right now, and then it'll pull back to retest that support area. I wouldn't set a buy at 27.65 because there's a good chance it won't come down that low. At a bare minimum, I would at least pull up my ATR indicator and say 27.65 plus, what's this at right now? 33 cents. So it's at 27.98 would be my initial buy, averaging down to 27.65, and then set a stop loss below that, about 33 cents under 27.65 for a tight stop loss if it's needed. But so I either think it's going to kind of run over it and then pull back and bounce off of it to make that run to 29.25, or I think it's going to come down and test this 26.85 / the bottom bound of the channel, and then as it comes up and approaches the 27.65, I'm going to guess that it would kind of blow right through it and make its run to 29.25 before pulling back at all in the meantime. So I'm going to look for one of those two things to play out, but we'll keep an eye on it and see what it does. Right now it's looking pretty solid. Let's grab some of the indicators here on the RSIs. Obviously stretched up pretty high, so it might give it that first pullback. This would actually be my preferred way for it to make that run to 29, because this gives more run room. So if it pulls back right now to 26.85, shows some supports, then I'd be pretty happy to grab an option then and ride that up to that $29 range, thinking that it's going to blow through this 27.65 and make its run then. So the RSI could be supporting an opportunity for a bit of a pullback there, as does the MACD if this bullish momentum continues to wane, though it's sort of like questionable at the moment whether it's going to continue to re-stretch and regain some real estate between the signal and the MACD line and run up some more, or if it's going to have this bearish crossover, MACD crosses below the signal, pull it down to about 26.85, and then have that giant run up to 29, which would be what, like a 10, 12, 15% run, something like that. So pretty interesting times on the chart for this one, but I mean, I'm going to say the stupid thing of saying I like what I'm seeing, but it's easy to like what you're seeing when this is the view. But let's zoom things in a bit, and I can sort of talk about this channel within the channel. So there's this channel here, which should be pretty apparent if you've sort of practiced spotting them at all. It's fine if you haven't, of course. But you have right about here and here. So we lop a smidge off the bottom and a smidge off the top, but this covers way more than 95% of the price action. It's been in this channel since the 23rd, so it's spent 1, 2, 3, it's 4th day in it today, and this one is done. So like compare this to the other one. I said I would like to see it sort of test the top and the bottom a little bit more consistently. It's tested the bottom once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. It's tested the top once, twice, 3 times. So pretty good testing on both ends of the spectrum of the channel. And so, I would look for it to continue to build itself up into this channel and take dip buys. If it came down to dip buy in the like around the opening bell, or just after, it often has these wild movements in the first hour or so of the day, that would put it right about 27, maybe stretch it if it comes down earlier into like the low 27s, like it's going to try to test 27, but wouldn't even pop it down to this 26.85, but would rather test this shorter term bottom of the channel. So depending on how, here's going to be the tricky part, at least for me, as I'm thinking about this like options play, because I also have like a longer term Palantir position. So I'm not talking about that one at the moment. But for the shorter term options play, the question to me is going to be how quickly do I think the run up to that 29 could be? Because that's going to be a quick collecting of like a couple $100 per options contract. Yeah. So, the question is if it's shorter, I might try to buy the dip on this shorter term time frame if there is a dip. Or if it seems like it's going to take a little bit longer, then I would sort of try to buy the dip in the longer term channel that we're looking at, which would mean that it would initially break this channel because it would come down and press pretty close to that 26.85, and then jump itself up from there. So that's going to be my question kind of for the time being. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I'm wondering all of a sudden, I see this is 26.85. I think before when I was talking about the ATR, I might have read 26.65. So if that's the case, just know I'm correcting the 26.85 plus 33 cents. But yeah, just know you take the price mark that you have and add it and stretch it above if you're looking for a dip buy, and stretch it that same amount down below if you're looking for a stop loss. Okay. So yeah, so that's what I would look for on this end of things. For the shorter term, there should be some variance. Yeah, for sure. Ton of variance in the indicator. So here the RSI is just sitting mid-range, so just under 50 at the moment. So tons of potential for it to make this run up to 27.65 to see if it can push it or not. And even then it would just be stretching it toward, there would be like testing toward the top of the channel tomorrow if it does want to try to make that run at that time. So that could be an interesting period, and again, if it does, that's where I would look for it to pull back into that buy zone. It just depends sort of like what chart I'm working off of at the time. That is going to be the question. MACD side of things also looks quite different. So nice big stretch up here, pretty solidly into the positive histogram area above the baseline. And now it's just sort of like consolidating down around the baseline again. So it's a little bit under right now. So if it can get a bullish crossover here, that could certainly give it the run room to push over that upper price target at the moment, the next price target of 27.65, and try to get its support going there to make that run into the 29. So interesting to see. I wouldn't be surprised if you see the MACD still kind of like, bob and weave here a little bit more, at least until market open. I mean, I just don't know that there would be enough volume to come in and really influence the MACD in any direction, given that it's settled in to like a baseline kind of formation during market hours. Okay, well, I think I'm losing my voice. I need to get this uploaded and call it a night, but I really appreciate you watching. Feel free to share these videos if you think this was interesting. Reddit, Twitter, Facebook, anywhere you share videos, that's super helpful. And other than that, whether it's trading Palantir or any other stock, I wish you the best this week. I hope it's a good one, and I will see you in the next video.